Fellow nerds and geeks, I have a problem with Doctor Who. Oh, that hurt me to say that. You see, I don't think this Doctor is the same person as this Doctor. In fact, I don't think any of the 13 Doctors are technically the same person that we love to call the Doctor. The show gives an explanation why I'm wrong about this, but I want to give you guys 2 reasons why this explanation doesn't work, and give what I believe to be the best possible solution for this problem. So, let's discuss this. Wait. I'm not properly dressed for the occasion. Let me fix that real quickly. There we go. There we go. Hopefully I look good. Now, let's get started, shall we? Okay, so, I love Doctor Who. It's one of my favorite shows. But the philosophical side of me can't help but ask, is the Doctor the same person throughout all of his regenerations? Now, for those who don't know, the Doctor is an alien that's able to regenerate his cells right before he's about to die, but it causes him to change his entire look and parts of his personality as well, which is why we have 13 Doctors. You know what? Here's the Doctor, or a Doctor, telling you a bit about himself.
You know what I am? I am an idiot with a box and a screwdriver. Just passing through, helping out, learning.
Now, if the Doctor is purely just a physical being, then when he regenerates, is he still actually the Doctor? Or is this now an entirely different person who is just claiming and calling themselves the Doctor? After all, if the Doctor is really only made up of certain physical traits, and only those physical traits, then why believe any Doctor after the first one is indeed the same Doctor when all of those physical traits have changed? This is what in philosophy we call the problem of identity. Here's a famous thought experiment to help you understand this. It's called the ship of Theseus. Now imagine, if you will, that you bought a ship, or a TARDIS, if you want to buy a TARDIS instead. How awesome would that be? But over time, you replace certain parts of it because it decayed, it broke, or for whatever reason, up until the point that you've replaced every single piece that you can on this boat. Is this boat technically the same boat that you originally bought? I'm willing to bet your inclination is to say no, it's not the same boat anymore. But what if you just replaced 99% of the boat? Is it still the same boat now? What about 50%? Same boat? You see, even though at some point we can't really give an exact percentage, we understand that at some point, after a certain amount of change, this thing is no longer the same thing that it originally was. Is now an entirely different object. And the reason why you would say this is because there is no physical trait that you can point to and say, this physical trait and this physical trait alone represents the fullness of this object or this being or this person. Back to the Doctor. If he is really just a purely physical being, just like the boat, and you conclude with the boat that after a certain point it's no longer the same boat that you started off with, then you should also conclude that the Doctor we see now on TV isn't actually the Doctor, but an entirely different person, just walking around saying they are the Doctor. They are all entirely 13 or 14 now, or however many there is now, if you've caught up on Doctor Who. They're all different, separate people. Now, Doctor Who does make an attempt, whether it's purposefully or not, I'm not entirely sure, to explain how the Doctor can still be considered to be the same person throughout each regeneration. I think the explanation is most clear in the 12th Doctor's last episode, Twice Upon a Time, when Bill, one of his traveling companions, says these things.
I knew you weren't real.
Oh, shut up and stop being so stupid. Of course I'm real. What is anyone supposed to be except a bunch of memories? These are my memories, so this is me. I'm Bill Potts, and I'm back.
You see, that's not the sort of thing the real Bill Potts would say.
I am the real Bill. Our life is just memories. I'm all her memories. So I'm her.
If you say so.
Now, Bill seems to make quite a reasonable argument for why we should accept her as being Bill, or being the same person. It's her collection of memories that are constant and make up her identity or her sense of self. This explanation also especially helps with the episode Heaven Sent, where the Doctor dies in the castle multiple times just to have his memories uploaded again into an entirely new body that looks exactly as it had when he first entered the castle. It contains all of his memories up until that point. But is this enough? Now what's really ironic is that not even the Doctor finds this convincing. He accepts that she's a collection of memories, because it's true, she is, at that point. But that's not enough to convince him that she's right. And you shouldn't be convinced either that she is the same person. And here's 2 reasons why. First, memories are changeable, meaning that if she really is just her memories, then what would that mean if you altered those memories? This kind of falls into the same problem as earlier with the Theseus ship, where if you just keep replacing parts, at some point it's not going to be the same person. And likewise, if you keep altering memories, at one point are we going to say that this person is different? It doesn't seem to be that memories is a good indicator of what makes a person, or what gives them identity. I mean, even think about it. I'm pretty sure you recognize that just because you've forgotten things about your past, no one even remembers the first couple years of their childhood. But you're not going to say that because you don't remember that, you weren't that baby or that child at the time, that you are an entirely different person from that baby. And you want to really keep in mind that we're trying to find something to ground your identity in, something that won't be so easily changed. So your memories being able to be altered or just completely forgotten demonstrates why basing an identity on memories isn't a great idea. Sorry, Bill. Second, it would be impossible to know whether or not those memories that you have are of things that you actually did. Imagine if you put your memories into another body, kind of like what happened at the end of season 9 with Danny becoming a Cyberman.
Imagine you could upload dying minds to that. Edit them, rearrange them, get rid of all those boring emotions, ready to be re-downloaded. Meanwhile, you upgrade the bodies. Upload the mind, upgrade the body.
Is that body now you? Well, there would be no way for you to know this. You might have the memories, or that body might have the memories of things that you did, but you would not be able to reach a conclusion of whether or not you just have these memories of something someone did, or if it was actually you that performed these actions. You would have no way to tell which one is true, and you would have to just make an assumption on which one you want to believe, whether or not these memories are things you did, or you just have this weird memory of someone doing something, but it wasn't you. So, the glass statue that says it is Bill in the clip that I showed earlier is just assuming that because she has these memories of doing the things that Bill did, that therefore it was indeed her that did those things. But there's no way for her to know that. It's impossible. That means we're still stuck with the problem of how the Doctor can be viewed as the same person for all of his regenerations. But don't fret, I have a solution, like I said. Now hear me out. What if the Doctor, instead of being a purely physical being, is actually an immaterial, unchanging soul that is the source of his identity, will, and sentience? This would mean that the Doctor isn't actually his body or anything physical or capable of change. In fact, he would be this immaterial thing, that we call the soul, and he experiences the external physical world through the physical body that he has. This would solve our identity problem, because the Doctor having a soul, or being a soul, that is unchanging and constant no matter what, would allow him to still be the Doctor, having this identity of himself, even if his physical body and some of his personality traits change over time. This would also get rid of the pesky problem, which is free will, because without a soul, you're just a physical body having chemical reactions that you have no control over. So you don't actually make decisions, rather you just perform actions. At least with a soul, you have a source of will and sentience that wouldn't be necessarily determined by some external factor. But I digress. That will be a topic in another video for a different time, so you should use your free will to subscribe to this channel for other interesting videos like that. So we did it! Yay! We solved the problem of the Doctor's identity with the soul. Now you may be wondering why all of this matters. Well, it matters because what I have been telling you about the Doctor and his identity problem also applies to us in reality. You have an identity. You are you and not someone else. But what makes you, you? The answer is the soul. If you can accept the reasoning when it comes to the Doctor, then you can accept that you have an immaterial, unchanging soul in reality. The Doctor has a soul, I have a soul, you have a soul, and everyone you know has a soul. However, bringing the soul as an answer does raise a big question. Where did the soul come from? Well, my answer is that an immaterial soul would require an immaterial creator of said soul, because immaterial cannot come from material. Or at the very least, it seems kind of nonsensical to believe that putting physical atoms together would somehow result in a non-physical immaterial thing. So it would seem the best way to explain the existence of the immaterial soul would be some sort of immaterial first cause. And this cause would be what everyone calls God. And because this first cause would be immaterial, it wouldn't be bound by space or time. This cause would also be personal because it would need to be able to choose to create a soul, and would also be very powerful because it's creating these souls out of nothing, or at the very least, out of non-physical material. This immaterial being would also be rational and intelligent because the Doctor's soul, as well as yours and mine, would need to have to find its source of rationality and intelligence in this being. So there you have it. If you want to accept that you are the same person throughout your entire life and that you have free will, then you should accept the idea of the soul and the claim that God exists. Thanks guys for watching. I'm the Nerdy Theist, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and let me know what you thought in the comments down below. And check out a couple of my other videos if this one really interested you. Oh, and if you're a Whovian like me, let me know who your favorite Doctor is. I am also on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 p.m. So if you're a gamer, come and hang out. Love to have you. Otherwise, till the next time, stay nerdy guys.